Here we go. Good morning. Let's see. Looks like we're good. I think the audio's okay. Yay! Up and running on the first try today. I'm so excited. Hi. I hope everyone's having a fabulous morning so far. So, I just wanted to hop on a little bit and talk about this topic that just came to me last night. It was something that I thought was funny, so I thought I would share as far as the insight that came to me with this particular title. So, the title of this video is Be Kind, Don't Rewind. And I know you guys probably remember back in the day when Blockbuster used to be a thing, when you would go pick up the movies, like the big old thick VHS tapes. And when you take them back, you're supposed to already rewind them so that they'll be ready for the next person to view them. And I just thought that was so funny that this insight came to me in that particular way. But in this case, I'm saying be kind enough to yourself and don't rewind, meaning don't go back into your past beating up on yourself for things you should have done differently. And I can tell you, I am the number one culprit for this. So I'm making this video just as much for myself as I am for anybody else that might need this message. But there is absolutely no value in going back, reliving old stuff, thinking about how you could have done something differently, because the only power of change that you have to affect anything is in this current moment. And if you're taking this moment to look back, you don't have any power. There's nothing that you can actually do in this moment that can change something that came before. The only thing worth doing, looking back at some worth looking back at that you already did, is to say how beneficial it was at this point. But then really, I mean, honestly, that takes a lot of work, so it's not even worth it to try to go sifting and going through trying to figure out what might be worth it to have learned a lesson from at this point, when you can just not look back at all. And that's pretty much what I've been working on myself and telling myself over and over again, like, no, don't go back there. You don't owe any explanation for how you got here. You don't need to justify your existence. You're here. So what? Whatever happened, it happened. You can't do anything about it now. And your best bet is to just be as nice as yourself till you can as you can in this moment, because that's where all your power is. That's where all your any everything that comes to you is coming to you as a result of who you're being in this moment, not who you were, not whatever happened however long ago. And the only reason any of that stuff might still be showing up in your current experience is because you're focused on it now. And like I talk about in the video where I was talking about focus, if you're focusing on something that happened in the past, then that's the vibration that you're emitting and that's what you're getting back. So it's not that the past still has any hold over you or has any bearings or even is important. It's just that your focus is going there. So that's what you're getting. So if it's not anything productive, if it's not anything, not even productive, because like even you get to decide what's productive in your own life. But if it's not anything that you want to repeat the experience of, that's really the key. If there's something in your past that just really rings your bells and it's just like, yes, oh my God, that was perfect. If it's something like that, then yes, feel free. Think about it all day, every day, because that's the stuff that is going to bring more good stuff, whatever you focus on in your past that feels like that. But anything else, nah, it's just going to keep you repeating the same patterns that you have been and living out the same life over and over and over again. Because the thing is, like, our lives are moving. Even if you don't feel like things are changing in your life, it is changing, but it's just changing to more of the same. So you have to change what you pay attention to in order to get different results. And if you're steady going back saying, dang, I wish I'd have done this differently, dang, I wish I hadn't done that, I should have did this better, I really wasn't a good person, or whatever you might be saying to yourself, you're still just gonna get more evidence that proves that, even though that doesn't make it true, it just makes it your focus. And whatever you actually focus on ends up becoming your truth. So you can make your truth whatever you want it to be just by choosing where you want to focus. And for me, that just means not going back there. It's not worth it. And if a thought comes to me that's pleasant, that was from my past, then I'll focus on that. But I'm not intentionally digging in my past. I'm not doing that. I'm not willing to go and try to justify how I got to where I am. I'm not willing to give any explanations, even to myself, not to anyone. Like, no, I am where I am. I'm here, and this is who I am being moving forward. And even telling stories from my past, I'm not super big on getting into ones that don't feel good when I tell them, which is why I just keep quiet about stuff until it doesn't have any emotional charge in me anymore. And I've talked about that before too. Like, your emotions will tell you how hot or cold you are on the trail of what it is that you're wanting to bring into your life. And if a story feels bad when you think about it, and then it's going to feel even worse when you tell it, that's letting you know right there that's not on the path to everything that you want. Because, like I'm always saying, you can be, do, or have anything that you want. You just have to turn in the direction of it. And looking backwards at what went wrong, the type of person you should have been, allegedly, all the things you should have done, that's counterproductive. Because the thing is, source knows who you are, source sees you in every moment, and source doesn't think you should have done anything different. Source is guiding you from wherever you are at this point in time. So there's literally no point in going back, because source certainly does not. Source is not looking at you like, well, back then she did this. That was when she was a really bad girl. Like, no, Source isn't doing any of that. Source is just beaming unconditional love. Like, you are loved, you are worthy, you are enough, all is well. Like, going back and going somewhere, and that's really the key thing. Like, when you go backwards, source isn't going back with you, and that's what really feels awful about it, because you don't have the support of source when you look back, because source is not willing to do that. So I'm just not going there. I'm just not willing. It just doesn't feel good. And just being, like, we've been so conditioned to try to punish ourselves into better or more, or being the version of ourselves that we think we should be, being where further along, or where we think we should be. But that also doesn't work, because we really have to treat ourselves the way source treats us, which is just loving. And think about it like this. Like, when you have a little baby, and I always love using examples of kids because they're still very close to their source connection. They haven't gotten as disconnected yet. When they're first learning how to walk, they don't get it like on the first try or the second try. It takes practice. It takes them getting their balance about them. And then what usually happens is they actually get really good at it. They get steady before they'll even acknowledge that they are steady. And that's the same, the grace that we give them, knowing that they will get it, seeing them stumble but not worrying about them stumbling, because you know that they will get it, you know that they will learn how to walk, you have confidence in them. So you're not like, oh, poor baby, that baby, oh, she needs my help, oh, she can't walk. No, you're just like, you got it, girl, get up, go ahead, there you go. Because that's exactly what it is. You know, without a doubt, that that baby's going to learn how to walk. You know that she's on her way to it. And that's the same thing that source does with you. Source knows you are well, you are good, you have got this. And Source is not like, oh, you poor little thing. That not any of that at all. Source is just, I love you. I know you are good. You have this. All really is well with you. And if you are going to be able to live the fulfilling, wonderful, juicy, delicious life that you want to live, you have to be willing to see yourself in Source's terms instead of the terms that other people may have set. Because the thing is, other people can't get inside your body and feel how you feel. So they're not a good guidance system as far as them knowing what you want and how you feel and how to get to what you want. Source is your absolute best guide. And that's not to say that people aren't helpful. Of course, people are helpful. People give you that insight you're looking for, and you can hear certain things like, "Ooh, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Thank you. That's exactly what I needed in this moment." But the thing is, like, you can't say, oh, this person's right and I'm wrong, because Source doesn't see it that way. Source knows that each person is right because each person has come here to choose what is right for them. Everybody has their own personal preferences. Everybody came in with different intentions, came in knowing who they are, what they wanted, and how they wanted to carve out life for them. So if you disagree with another person, that doesn't make the other person wrong and you right, or you wrong and the other person right. You're both right about whatever your viewpoint is. So suffice it to say, if you think that going about something that you want is right for you, then it is right for you. And that's not to say that somebody else might not approve of the way you do things or even what you're doing, but that is really, that's got to do with them and not you. And that's what I've really taken to heart about myself, because I used to be so much of a people pleaser and so trying to get the like the check boxes checked, trying to be such a good girl, trying to be what I thought everyone else wanted of me. And that's a impossible task, because one, every person that I meet wants something different from me. And the thing is, that goalpost actually changes. Even if I only was trying to please one person, I'll contort and bend over backwards and do all of this. And then I would meet those requirements, and I lived this. So this is speaking from personal experience. I did this. I attempted to do it. It's not successful. It's not possible at all. But what would happen was I would do all of these things, this, thing after thing after thing. And then, okay, good. You're happy. All right. I did everything you wanted. I am the person you wanted me to be. I did all this. And the person's like, no, actually I need you to do this, and this. And it's never enough. The goals keep changing. The satisfaction factor is never there for whoever it is you're trying to please. And of course it's not there for you. And I'm just like, I can't. That'll make you a crazy person. And in trying to enable somebody else and letting them think that you are always supposed to be their path of least resistance, no, no, no. Nobody came here to rely only on one other human to be their every single thing. Like, no, that's not how it's set up. Not when we have this source energy, this beautiful universe, all of these resources, this, it's just, it's way too expensive for us to put that much pressure on one person, or to allow yourself to try to do that for one person. It's too much. It doesn't work, and it just drives you crazy and makes the other person resentful, because eventually get resentful because they recognize that they're supposed to be doing, have everything they want as well, because Source has the capacity to fulfill everybody's desires. Source is that expansive and that broad that everybody's desires can be fulfilled. It's not just about some, if it means one person gets something, it means somebody can't get something else. No, source has broader perspective, so source can see how all of the pieces fit together in a way that we usually can't from our one human perspective. So if somebody is in the mindset that they need you for something and without you they can't be, do, or have whatever, then that's on them. That is something that they will have to do their own inner work on, because you have to know you can't be all things to all people, and you can't be all things to anybody. Honestly, to any other person, you're not built for that. That's not what we were here for. Because, and think about it too, if you could actually do that, like let's just say the laws of the universe were different than what they are. If you could be all of those things to one person, don't you think we would have figured this out by now? Don't you think like whoever had the capability to do all of the stuff for people would have done it already? Wouldn't everybody just be good already and everything would just be hunky dory if one person could just be the thing that needs to be for everybody? But of course, it doesn't work like that. And of course, everybody came in with their own personal desires. And that's why we're all so different and so unique and just not meant to be the same, and looking to each other to not to be, to define who we're supposed to be. And that's what I'm really getting at. Like, other people are good touch points. Like, oh, I like that quality. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that about her. I love that about him. So I'm going to take these pieces and add that to my mix. But never were we intending to just be a carbon copy of somebody else or try to live up to some standards that we just can't. No, that was never our intention. That was never what we came here to do. And it's exhausting when you try. It's not satisfying at all. You can't be successful at it. So you're pretty much setting yourself up from failure from the moment that you start trying to do that. So that's a lesson in futility, and I'm done with that. I'm done with anything that brings me down, anything that brings me away from source, anything that makes me not appropriate, makes me feel as if I'm not enough or I'm not worthy. Because I know that's bogus. I know source is just not looking at me like that. So I'm just like, Shh, nah, that can't be true, because I know how source feels about me and I can feel that in here. So anything that has to do with going back, justifying, explaining, trying to say who I'm not anymore, nah, I'm tossing all of that out. It's got to go. It has no room in my vibration or my experience anymore. And I challenge you to do the same thing. I am always saying, like, look, if anybody can be, do, or have anything, then I can too. And I know you can too. So that's the topic for today. I hope you found that useful. I am so, so glad to see you. Glad you could be here, and I will see you next time. Bye.